across to Amir. Amir, what is the update in terms of the visuals that we are getting of protests, massive protests in Moradabad?
The leader who made that controversial comment against the Prophet. And although now an FIR has been registered into the matter yesterday, and there are in fact several other individuals who've been named in such FIRs from both sides, here are demanding the arrest of Nupur Sharma. All such people who've been speaking ill or making controversial statements about the Prophet or the minority community. Now, this is something that the police and administration had been conscious about, vigilant over the last 1 week. Violence had erupted last in Kanpur. Today, definitely, in a number of places, and especially sensitive places like Moradabad, Bareilly, Kanpur and Lucknow, Section 144 had been clamped. The police was maintaining its vigil. There are security drills that are happening. And in fact, right now, since I'm covering this story from Kanpur, I'm being privy to multiple such area domination exercises and security drills that senior officials here have undertaken. And a large number of cops have also been posted outside such mosques in sensitive areas wherein such bands or calls for protests could actually have emerged in a short period of time. Although the police says that there is no official or formal call for band in all such places, but the fact that the Jumma namaz entails of namazis in large numbers towards the mosque between 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. in the afternoon has kept the police on its toes. But we believe such protests are sporadic in nature, but will pass off and should pass off peacefully, because this time around the administration as well as police and intelligence authorities have been vigilant. They have left no stone unturned as far as making it sure that this is conveyed to people from the Muslim community, the minority community, that action is being taken against all such people.
Absolutely. But according to the protesters, the registering of an FIR, registering of a case is not enough. They are demanding the arrest of Nupur Sharma. And as we speak, Amir, there are visuals coming in from Srinagar, from Saharanpur, from Ahmednagar, visuals from the national capital. Protests taking place outside Jama Masjid in the national capital, and in fact stone pelting happened in Jumma. As far as the Moradabad protests are concerned, Amir, were they pre-planned? Did the administration have any clue about such a protest breaking out? Were arrangements made to control the crowd?
You see, Swati, the administration and police is definitely conscious that such protests could actually take. There was inkling initially of calls being made for massive protests or for bunds to happen today. Definitely, it seems now that as far as these sporadic protests are concerned, the police and the administration is looking over it. Make sure that choose the situation before and perhaps also to allow such people who actually want to raise their voice or protest against something that they believe is unlawful and has happened to them, so as to diffuse the situation, so as to allow them to vent out their anger, and then perhaps everything will pass off peacefully. So that's the strategy that administration and police officials sometimes adopt. To it that people are not driven against the wall, and they are allowed to make peaceful protests and quickly disperse so as to they wanted to do, but not to take law and order into their hands.
Absolutely. So, so far we've heard some individuals, some religious leaders, spew venom on camera, only trying to invoke violence, only trying to provoke people. But what about the responsible religious leaders? Any such call given, any such appeal made by religious leaders from within the community, asking people to, maintain calm, maintain peace, and not take law into their hands?
Indeed, so a number of religious and community leaders and clerics have had issued calls to the community that they shouldn't protest on Friday around Jumma prayers, that there should be no violence in the name of protest, and also that amity and understanding between different communities should be taken forward, should be established. And for this purpose, for this end, number of peace committee meetings had also been called across the state, not just in Kanpur where this incident happened last Friday, but also in places like Moradabad, Meerut, other such places which are clearly understood to be sensitive, looking at the demographics of such cities, especially old areas, and therefore they've tried to convince on both sides whatever action is warranted will be taken as per law. Not need to take law into their own hands or carry out protests. Some people have congregated in sizable numbers. I said earlier, some the administration and police might be allowing them to make some peaceful protests so as to register their protests, but they will never be allowed to take law into their own hands, to make these protests aggressive or violent. And therefore, it is only perhaps to diffuse the situation wherein people are congregated in large numbers that they are allowed to make some peaceful protests, but then they will be asked to, to disperse quickly so as not to, make the situation uncontrollable. Community leaders are being taken into confidence. They are constantly in touch with senior officials, magistrates, SDMs and ADMs, as well as various police officials who have remained in touch with community leaders over the last 1 week to ensure that today Jumma namaz actually takes place and passes off peacefully, and that there are no massive protests or untoward incidents reported from anywhere.
Right, absolutely. Apart from the stone pelting that happened in Jammu, we haven't so far come across a single report of violence during these protests. But yes, the administration, the local administration and the police will have to be on alert, anticipating that more such protests, sporadic protests could take place, Amir.
Okay, and as I was narrating in Kanpur, since the violent incident had happened here itself at the parade area, the police had been vigilant and especially vigilant over the last 2-3 days, wherein a number of flag marches had been organized, taken into confidence. Community leaders, political leaders were called in, and people were made to understand that they shouldn't be misled by what is being posted by certain elements on social media.
Amir, stay on with us. I want to go across